Hi everyone, we left off on chapter 3 with Junie B. Jones is not a crook. And if you remember from chapters 1 to 3, her grandpa bought her new black, furry, not real fur, fancy mittens for no good reason. It wasn't her birthday or Valentine's or Christmas, it was just because he wanted to. And she's super excited about them. And she was playing horsies with Lucille and Grace and put the mittens down underneath a tree with her fancy jacket. And when she came back after playing horsies, everything was gone. And so she freaked out. And now on chapter 4, No Teddy Backpack, we're going to find out what happened next. I ran all around the tree. 911, 911, 911, I hollered. Somebody stole them. Somebody stole my mittens. Mrs. came very quick. Remember, Mrs. is the name she gave her teacher. Mrs. came very quick. They stole them. They stole my mittens. 911, I shouted some more. Mrs. bended down next to me. Who, Junie B? Who stole them? She said. A steal it. That's who. A stealer stole them. And so what kind of school is this? Because I didn't even know there were crooks at this place. Mrs. said, calm down my voice. Yeah, only I can't even calm it down that good. Because I'm heartsick, that's why. Heartsick is the grown-up word for when your heart is sick. I looked at the ground real sad. Now all I have left is this dumb, attractive jacket. Mrs. picked it up, and then she holded my hand, and me and her started to walk. You and I are going to go to the office, she told me. I quick tried to get my hand away from her. No, Mrs., I'm not allowed to go there. Mother said if I get sent into the office one more time, I will get grounded, young lady. And tears came to my eyes. Grounded, young lady, is when I have to stay on my own ground, I said. Plus, also, I can go on the rug. Mrs. smiled. I'm not taking you to the principal's office to punish you, Junie B., she said. I'm taking you to find your mittens. I did a gasp. Principal? I asked, very shocked. Principal? Stole my mittens? Mrs. laughed real loud. No, Junie B., he didn't steal your mittens. The office is where the lost and found is located. After that, she took my hand again, and we hurried up to the office. There is a grouchy typing lady at that place. I am not fond of her. Junie B. needs to look through the lost and found, Mrs. told her. Please send her back to class when she's finished. Then Mrs. went back to room 9 and left me there all by myself. The typing lady looked over the counter at me, and I did a gulp. Yeah, only I'm not even bad today, I explained, very nervous. Somebody stole my mittens, and this is the end of my tale. And the typing lady kept on looking at me, and she didn't say any words. And sweat came on my head. Whew! It's warmish in here, isn't it? I said. Just then I heard the door open, and it was Principal. He was coming out of the office. I jumped up and down at the sight because I know that guy very good. Principal, look, it's me. It's Junie B. Jones. My mittens got stolen on the playground, and so Mrs. brought me here to get them. So just hand them over, and I'll be on my way, no questions asked. And Principal looked funny at me. Then he went to a closet and he pulled out a big box. This is the lost and found, Junie B., he explained. Any time that someone finds something that's been lost, they bring it here and we put it in this box. How come, I asked. How come they bring it here instead of taking it home? Because one time I found a nickel in the street and Daddy said I could put it in my bank because finding isn't the same thing as stealing, right, Principal? Finding is a lucky duck. Principal laughed a little bit. Well, finding a nickel in the street is different, Junie B., he said. For one thing, it would be almost impossible to discover who the owner of the nickel really was. And for another thing, losing a nickel isn't really that big of a deal. But when someone loses something personal, like mittens, for instance, well, that's a very big deal. And so if someone else finds the mittens, they can bring them to the lost and found, and then the owner can get them back. And he smiled. And that makes everybody happy, Junie B., he said. And the owner is happy because she has her mittens back, and the person who found them is happy because she's done a good deed. He pointed to a piece of paper taped on the box. See this? This is a poem the 3rd grade wrote about the lost and found, and it says, if you find stuff, bring it in. All day long, you'll wear a grin. I did a frown. Yeah, only here's the problem. I didn't lose my mittens. They got stole on purpose, and so no one will bring them in and wear a grin, probably. Principal raised his eyebrows. Well, You never know, Junie B. Why don't you just look in there and see? And he opened up the box for me. And that's when my eyes got big and wide, because it was full with the wonderfulest items I've ever seen. There were sweaters and sweatshirts and baseball caps and gloves and balls and a lunchbox and a scarf and sunglasses and a watch with Mickey Mouse on it. And there was a backpack that looked like a teddy bear. Oh, I always wanted one of these, I hollered, real thrilled. And I put it on my back and I skipped around the office. How does it look back there? I asked. And the principal ran after me. He took the teddy bear off my back and he put it back in the box. We're looking for your mittens, remember, he said. You see her skipping around with the bear backpack on her back. Just then, I felt upset again because I almost forgot about those furry guys, that's why. Oh yeah, my mittens, I said, real glum. I looked through the box some more. They're not here, I said. My mittens are gone forever, I think. And I did a sad sigh. And then I picked up the teddy bear backpack. Maybe I'll just take this instead, I said, because this teddy backpack will ease my pain, I believe. And Principal said no. How come? I asked. Because the owner doesn't even want it anymore, I bet. Her mother already brought her a new teddy bear backpack, probably. And so this one's just going to go to waste. And Principal stood up and turned me to the door. And that meant I'm leaving, I think. Come back tomorrow and look for your mittens again, he said. I talked real fast. Yeah, only I just remembered something. I used to have a teddy backpack, just like that one, maybe. And then I lost it, probably. And so I better take that one home with me, or else my mother might be mad. And Principal walked me to the door, and he faced me down the hall. Goodbye, Junie B, he said. And I hanged my head, real disappointed, because guess why? Goodbye means no teddy backpack. Chapter 5, Gargling and Scribbling. Room 9 is way too far from Principal's office. I had to stop at the water fountain, or else I might not have made it. I pressed the water button with my thumb, and then I puckered up my lips, and I sucked the water in, and I didn't even put my mouth on the spout because there's lip dirt on that thing, of course. I sloshed the water all around on my cheeks, and then I bended my head way back, and I did some gargles. I can gargle very perfectly, except I can't keep the water in my actual mouth. It ran all down the sides and dribbled onto the floor, and I splashed in it with my toe, and that's when I saw something very wonderful down there. Hey, it's one of those pens that writes 4 different colors, I said. And I picked it up and pushed the little red button on the top, and a red pen popped out the bottom, and I scribbled red scribble all over my hand. Wow! I love this thing, I said. Have you ever seen one of those pens where at the top it has a push for green, push for blue, push for red, push for black? Maybe other colors. And when you push it down, it writes that color. That's what she found. That's what she found. And now she's writing all over her hand with it. After that, I pushed the green button and scribbled green scribble, and I pushed the blue button and scribbled blue scribble. Plus, I also pushed the black button and scribbled black scribble. This pen makes scribbling a pleasure, I said. I put it in my pocket, and I started skipping to room 9. Only too bad for me, because all of a sudden, I remembered about the lost and found. I stopped. Oh, no! I wish I didn't even remember about that, I said. Now I have to take my pen to the lost and found, or else I won't wear a grin. I did a frown, because something I didn't make sense here. That's why. Yeah, only I was already wearing a grin. I said I wear a grin as soon as I saw this wonderful thing, and so taking it to the office will only make me sad. I tapped on my chin. Maybe Principal is a little mixed up about this, I said to myself. I am pretty sure I will be happier if I keep it. And here's another thing I'm thinking. I'm thinking whoever owned this pen didn't even take good care of it, so I will give it a good home. And so what can be a gooder deed than that? And I took it out of my pocket and I looked at it. Plus, this even makes sense, because first I got my mittens stolen, and then I couldn't have the teddy backpack, and so keeping this pen is fair and square. And all of a sudden, my whole face lighted up, because I just thought of a different poem, that's why, and it's called Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers, I said, real thrilled. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. And then I jumped up and down very happy because everybody says that. And so, finders, keepers is really a rule, I bet. And after that, I put my pen back in my pocket and I skipped the rest of the way to room 9. Chapter 6. My grandpa's wallet. I kept my pen in my pocket the whole rest of the day. I didn't want people to see it, or else I might be a tattletale to Mrs., and she would make me take it to the lost and found. I behaved myself very good because I didn't want to attract attention. That's why. I kept my hand in my pocket so that my pen would not fall out. Also, I kept thinking about my mittens because I still miss those furry little guys. I put my head down on the table. Maybe my Grandpa Miller might buy me some more furry mittens, I whispered, because that would be a perfect solution, I think. I raised my head up. Hey, yeah, then I would have a wonderful new mittens plus a wonderful new pen. And so what more can a girl ask for? That's what I'd like to know. And I sat up in my chair and I tapped on Lucille. Guess what, Lucille? Maybe my grandpa, Frank Miller, might buy me some new mittens and then all my troubles would be over. And Lucy said, whoop-de-doo for me. I know it's a whoop-de-doo, I said in a real thrilled voice. And so thank you for your support. And after school, me and my bestest friend named Grace rode the bus together. And I rummed home from the corner like a speedy bullet. My Grandpa Frank Miller was babysitting my brother named Ollie. Grandpa Frank Miller! Grandpa Frank Miller! We gotta go to the mitten store! We gotta go to the mitten store! I hollered real loud. Look at that poor Grandpa trying to keep the baby asleep, and she's dragging Grandpa by the hand. Grandpa Frank Miller was in the living room rocking Ollie, and he looked funny at me. Go where? He asked. To the mitten store, to the mitten store. We gotta go to the mitten store. I pulled on his hand. Get up, get up, get up. Let's get a wiggle on. And Grandpa Miller looked confused at me. That's how I had to sit down, and I told him what happened at school. Someone stole my mittens, I said. They stole them while I was being brownie, and I didn't even know there were crooks at that place. Grandpa Frank Miller shook his head very sad. I guess you can find crooks almost anywhere, honey, he said. I know it, I told him. That's how come I'm never going to see those furry guys again, and so you and me have to go to the mitten store. I felt in his back pocket, and then I danced around real thrilled. Hooray! I shouted, hooray for your big fat wallet, 'cause you got cash in there, right, Grandpa? Right, right? Grandpa Frank Miller laughed. Yeah, I do. I got cash all right, he said, but I'm afraid we won't be able to buy you more mittens. The mittens I bought you were the only furry ones I had left. I bought the very last pair. And just then, all the happy went right out of me, because I didn't actually count on this terrible development. Yeah, only we have to, Grandpa. We have to buy more furry mittens, or else what will I even do? Grandpa Miller ruffled my hair. Did you look in the lost and found at school? He asked. I did a sad breath. Yeah, only that dumb thing doesn't work that good, 'cause people don't always turn stuff in. I patted my new pen in my pocket. Trust me on this, I said real soft. Well, your mittens could still turn up, he said. Folks will surprise you sometimes. And then he told me a story about his wallet. A few years ago, I lost my wallet at the mall. I was sure I'd never see it again, he said. I bobbed my head up and down. I know it. That's because of finders, keepers, losers, weepers, I said. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers is the rule, right, Grandpa? Grandpa Miller smiled. Well, it might be the rule for some people, he said, but luckily it's not the rule for everyone, because the very next day when I went out to get the mail, there it was. My wallet was sitting right smack in the middle of my mailbox, and not one single penny was missing. His eyes looked happy and sparkly. Can you imagine that, little girl? He asked. Someone had the chance to take everything in my wallet, but instead they drove all the way to my house and they put it in my mailbox. And just then he reached in his back pocket and pulled out his wallet. Look at that. He's showing her his wallet. Look what I would have lost if they hadn't returned it, he said, and he took a picture out of his wallet and handed it to me. "It's you and a baby," I said. "But that's not just any baby," he said. "That's you, Junie B. That's a picture of the very first time I held you." He took the picture back and stared at it. "Nicest thing a stranger ever did for me, bringing this picture back," he whispered real soft. And then he leaned over and he kissed me on the head. That is a very nice grandpa. And that is the end of chapter 6. So why don't we get together again and we'll start on chapter 7. I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.